going on, guys? Black Scout Survival, late night live. Thanks for watching. And the Pentagon is seriously talking about an alien mothership in our solar system. Anyway, I hope it's more ET than like the Predator, So anyway, let me talk about first a Google ad that was literally at the bottom of a website I was looking at. Join the military as a senior and earn up to $50,000 bonus. Look at this, guys. Do you think we're in any position to fight anyone, including aliens? It's not looking good for the U.S. military at all. At all. We're now trying to get senior citizens to join. Very scary. So, anyhow, this report or this, I guess, report came out a few days ago, but it's been very underreported. Not many people are talking about. They've been keeping this under wraps, and obviously, because the nature of it, they don't want it to get out. But the thing is they don't want you to hear about it, and how you know that is because every time I Google something that is like breaking, and this comes up, it looks like the results below are changing quickly. Check the source, or they trust on this topic, come back later. This is always the Google ploy to try to stop the narrative. So usually people stop after they search and that's it. So that told me that this is pretty serious. So anyway, the first start off with the Pentagon, over the past few years has kind of acknowledged these things, and they are stating, like in 2022 here, that they've got hundreds of new reports of UFOs. And so this is back January 13th, 2023. And Pentagon's office has received hundreds of new reports in 2022. And while I can't explain more than half of those events, they remain a mystery. So they have the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence say they're focusing on 171 cases, including some in which objects appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performing capabilities and require further analysis. So the reports have rose sharply, and that's probably a few reasons why. One, you're not called a lunatic for reporting a UFO anymore because they have been trying to keep this, the CIA has been trying to keep this covered up for, 40, 50 years now. So anytime you talk about a UFO or, anything like that, it's just, you're a psycho, you're a crazy person. But also, I think, with technology, people have access to cameras pretty much 100% of the time, and they can get things like that. And obviously, that's just technology in general. You can, get better footage and night vision, these sort of things, because apparently some of them are picked up better with night vision. But here you can see this report. You can go through this, and it talks about the various things on this website here. This is NPR. And you can just look up Pentagon, got hundreds of new reports. So anyhow, the article that actually popped up the other day that I saw was that the Pentagon UFO chief says an alien mothership is possibly in our solar system. Well, this is the Pentagon UFO chief, okay? There's a possibility that an extraterrestrial mothership and smaller probes may be visiting planets in our solar system, the head of the Pentagon Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Research Office noted in a reported draft shared Tuesday. So this is coming from Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO. He wrote a research report co-authored by Abraham Loeb, the chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department. And I'm going to show that report later because I pulled it up. So Loeb gained notoriety when he proposed that our solar system had been traversed by his first extrasolar visitor in October 2017. At that time, The Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii detected an object moving at a speed that caused some scientists to suggest that it was originated outside of our solar system. The object's orbit also hinted to other forces behind the sun's gravitational pull influencing its movement. And basically, they dubbed the object, I think it's Aumumama, Hawaiian term for scout, is what they called it. And basically, it's a flat-shaped object out in space that looks artificially made, not something natural. And so Senator Marco Rubio and then Kirsten Gillibrand and Trouble Center sent a letter to Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks, basically calling for full funding of the AARO, but the Biden administration previous funding request fiscal year failed to fund anything beyond the office basic operating expenses. So Biden does not want to help fund this, right? So let me pull up this report real quick. So this is the physical constraints of unidentified aerial phenomena. And so in here, it talks about there's basically a possibility that extraterrestrial motherships and smaller probes may be visiting planets in our solar system, the head of the Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Research Office noted in here. So they talked about it being highly maneuverable, and basically it can operate outside of normal physical constraints. In particular, we show friction of the UAP with surrounding air or water and expects to generate a bright optic fireball. Okay. So it goes into 2005. Now, this draft is under review. Apparently, they're reviewing this before, I guess, they officially release it. But in 2005, the U.S. Congress tasked NASA to find 90% of all near-Earth objects, or NEOs, that are larger than 140 meters. The Congressional Task Force resulted in construction of the Pan-STARRS telescopes. On October 19, 2017, the Pan-STARRS Sky Survey flagged an unusual NEO in the interstellar object Oumuamua, like I said. Unlike solar system asteroids or comets, Oumuamua appeared to have an extreme flat shape and was pushed away from the sun without showing a cometary tail of gas and dust, raising the possibility that it's thin and artificial in origin. 3 years later, Pan-STARRS discovered a definitely artificial object, namely NASA's rocket booster 2020 SO, which exhibited similar behavior with an extreme shape, a push by the solar radiation pressure, and no cometary tail because its thin walls were made of stainless steel. So they're basically documenting all these various things that they've seen here, right? 6 months before Oumuamua's closest approach to Earth, a meteor-sized interstellar meteor collided with Earth, and the identical speed relative to the sun at large distances and identical heliocentric semi-major axis as the Oumuamua had. So they're saying possibly that an artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during a close passage to Earth, right? And they're basically saying, in quotations, they're calling them dandelion seeds, could be separated from the parent craft by the tidal gravitational pull or force of the sun or by maneuvering capability. A small ejection speed far away could lead to a large deviation from the trajectory of the parent craft near the sun. So it says that astronomers would not be able to notice the spray of many probes because they do not reflect enough sunlight for existing survey telescopes. Talks about the telescope here and extraterrestrial possibility. The interest in the UAP stems from their potential non-human technological origin. The equipment could arrive in two forms: space trash, similar to the way that our own interstellar probes, Voyager 1 and 2, Pioneer 10, 11, and New Horizons, will appear in 1 billion years, or functional equipment such as autonomous devices equipped with artificial intelligence. Electronic probes employing conventional chemical propulsion and refueling that we currently don't basically understand would be a likely choice for travel with the planetary system, some combination of conventional propulsion, ion propulsion, or light cell propulsion. And it said that basically it could grab maybe like from the sun, basically recharge batteries or something. Their theory on that. So they're going to propulsion meshes. So they're going through all these different things here. Optical emissions, other observable signatures, and a lot of technological verbiage. So that is the report from that was written from Harvard and as well as our UFO Pentagon chief. The memo. Thank you, retired AFCE. Thank you, buddy. So I guess the biggest thing is like, what is this distraction really, really for? You know, so they basically what it gets down to is that the mothership could be dropping probes. Okay, and they're I guess they're theorizing that is what we're seeing with these objects that are able to move. They don't understand the propulsion system that they're saying is well beyond our technological capabilities, and that they don't fit the physics that humans are capable of creating. Right, it defies our physics. Um, Forbes also talks about this. Reform to military justice system endangered by slow pay. Oh, this is not the article. Let me pull it up. Yeah, that was not it. This is what I'm talking about here. Some UAP sightings don't fit current physics, right? And this was March 9th, so what, a few days ago. So again, they're saying that these objects don't fit physics, so it wouldn't even happen naturally, is what they're getting to. This movement pattern would not even happen natural, like from a meteor, things like that. So this is something very, very unusual and appear to be, like you see here, highly maneuverable objects. So I just wonder, like again, why is this coming out now? Versus I guess like I mean, it's been this. They've had a team of these people since the '70s. Ripple effect. Aliens are fallen angels. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, that is a theory that I've heard quite a bit as well. Obviously it's a distraction, so of some sort. If it's a man-made distraction with the government, some deception. Who knows? I mean, I have my own theory. Let me throw my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory out there. Okay, in Vietnam era, or whenever JFK developed the first kind of special operations, he tasked them. They weren't the first special operations, but he tasked the Navy to create a special operations team, which became the Navy SEALs. And they were like, teams 1, 2, 3. Then they made 6. They jumped up the number, and to make the world think that we had way more teams than what we actually had. So the U.S. government could say, well, yeah, there's aliens, and we're friends with them, and they're highly advanced. So just go ahead and stay in place. I mean, these are things that we're seeing. We've seen these reports, but we haven't seen it. I mean, they could literally. I mean, you've seen movies with amazing footage, right? You watch a movie and if it looks real, it's great quality. So them showing you a fuzzy video that they say a fighter pilot, and this is conspiracy theory tinfoil hat, so just bear with me. They could easily make that. They could easily control you with something like this. So I would just be, very skeptical of that. I'm not a believer in aliens. Um, I guess, however, anything's possible at this point. We have green lasers that China's shooting over Hawaii. So I mean, who knows? Who knows what kind of when I say UFO, what kind of craft that are even the technological capabilities that we even have it there we don't know about, right? So a lot of things could happen, but it's kind of like as well as the skepticism of the moon landing. They didn't have cell phones then. They barely had the cameras, and you mean to tell me that a camera was sending the footage down to Earth while you're watching this real time? Mm. Anyway, So I'm just saying, this would be something easily you could control and use to maybe control the world. Hey, we have aliens. There's been with the Canadian Prime Minister, or not the Prime Minister, Ministry of Defense or something like that, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now, said that America was ran by an alien force called the Tall Whites. Edward Snowden had also mentioned the Tall Whites and some other folks. So this is the thing. It could be very much a control measure technique, but that's my conspiracy theory. There's no proof in that. Just something I'm spitballing. Just something I think about. Yeah, Lori Lightfoot could be. Lori Lightfoot definitely could be an alien. Yeah, man. Hold on. Let me see. Soy boys are calling for a probe, and there's a lot of them out there. A lot of them out there, especially after my video today. Man, they want to wear lipstick and nail polish. It's wild. It's wild. Anyway, back on track here. So, in a nutshell, they were finding Loab and Kirkpatrick find that some of the UAPs were moving in seamlessly impossible directions and speeds that they appear to be, that with the friction involved would generate a fireball or corresponding radio signature visible via radar. However, it didn't, right? Ripple effect. Thanks, buddy. And so, this was actually on Newsmax the other day, and they talked about it, and they actually talked about some footage of a UFO in Afghanistan. You can watch this whole video here. Or Pentagon is literally talking about the mothership.
UFO sightings has the Pentagon's attention. The crafts demonstrate unusual flight characteristics, performance capability.
So again, like what I'm saying, they have very unusual characteristics.
Technology that, to our knowledge, defies explanation from any country's top scientists and researchers. The Pentagon notes in their 2022 annual.
So he has this guy on here. I mean, this guy's very well known. So you probably saw him if you saw anything. I did see a documentary with him and some guy that supposedly worked on spacecraft. Which is not it here. Let me see here. This is the footage here that he's talking about from Afghanistan.
What we're talking about, if we take the banner down, you'll be able to see it better there in the bottom right. There you go. What can you tell us about these pictures? I mean, to me, this doesn't look like anything. Why do you make something of this?
Yeah, because the Air Force classified this.
Yeah, so this was Air Force classified material.
In a secret archive as UAP or UFO. We call it the Baghdad Phantom because that was part of the file name. This was filmed by the U.S. Air Force. Reaper drone footage.
So he talks about that, and then Matt Gates.
Familiar with any of our allies or adversaries or even our country possessing. I've seen that craft taken by air crews who have gotten quite close to it, and we've got.
So he's talking about here that he's seen a craft that does not look like it's man-made.
A lot more questions about why this information isn't more broadly available to the American people.
I mean, it's starting to sound like there's something being covered up.
Sure, I was with Matt. I know what he is referring.
This is another senator here, by the way.
To, and I will tell Jeremy, we've got to have hearings. We're going to have hearings. I talked to Speaker McCarthy.
So let me go back to that footage real quick where he discusses this.
I've seen evidence of craft that I am not familiar with any of our allies or adversaries or even our country possessing. I've seen that craft taken by air crews who have gotten quite close to it, and we've got a lot more questions about why this information isn't more broadly available to the American people.
So again, that's Matt Gates saying that he saw something. The other representative there said that he was with Matt and saw the craft as well, and that it doesn't look like anything that we have or any of our adversaries have. Again, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to see it to believe it and touch it to believe it. But I'm curious to know your thoughts. I think it's very interesting, to say the least. I think that them being, the weird thing is the report comes out. then you can't really find anything about it. So very odd. Why would you release it if you didn't want anybody to find anything about it? So also, you always have to question the time frame when they release things. A lot of times they will release things on Friday when everybody's going home, the weekend's there, and pretty much everything is overlooked over the weekend. That's how they get by with a lot of things, a lot of laws. And you'll notice that that's the way most politicians run, especially Democrats. If someone says a false flag make you think they're aliens, very, very possible. We've seen false flags. I mean, you look at when we hear the Nord Stream pipeline, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but there was Instagram guys, forward observations. You know, they're saying that they did it. These guys are former, I guess, SEALs and things like that that make pretty cool content, the music, shooting, and things like that. But they went to Ukraine, and apparently they're saying they're the ones who did it. So who knows? Who knows? Question everything, right? So, like I said in last night's video, is that anything you see, you know, the beginning of the coup, the beginning of the Ukraine war, George Floyd, anything you see, what is the reason for the propaganda? You have to always ask that question. That's why I'm always very slow to make an opinion these days. I used to make opinions pretty quickly, but now I'm pretty slow about it because you don't know. It's just so much propaganda. There's always a reason why they're telling you these things, you know, to frame a narrative, to run a psyop on you, whatever it is. You know, I just think it's odd that they released it if they didn't want you to know about it. And then at the same time, you can't really find any information about it. No one's talking about it, highly underreported by the media. So I'm very curious to know your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments. What do you think it is? Go drop me some comments. Help me fight the communist algorithm, the AI that's trying to stop us from sharing it. They're going to definitely try to stop. If you thought they're going to try to stop last night's video, they're definitely going to try to stop this because they're like, yeah, you can't even Google it. And Google is ran by YouTube. So anyway, go drop me a comment. Let me know. I'm curious because I do appreciate your guys' comments because a lot of times you will say things that I hadn't heard about, hadn't thought about. You'll send me on a goose chase. I'll go down the rabbit hole, you know. So I do appreciate your commentary. Always do. I think it's great. A lot of intelligent people that watch my channel. I'm blown away by. I love whenever people say lizard people. I saw this comment. I love when people say that. Most of the government's from my lizard people. I love when people say that. I crack up. But yeah, you guys are geniuses. So please go drop some commentary. Let me know your thoughts. Like get deep, get into detail. Let me know everything you think about this, or if you've seen anything else, and even reference some documentaries you may have seen. You know, I can't remember the. You probably guys will know because you know everything. But that guy did a documentary with a guy who said he worked on, and they basically deleted his records or whatever. But he did have like a phone book from the agency that had his name in there, like listed from that era. So anyhow, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me. And Tribe, thanks for tuning in. And Tribe, go join up in the Late Night Live Tribe. Let's have a chat about this. And if you hadn't joined the Tribe, go join the Tribe, meet and get to know people that you can trust, people in build your community in your area. We have people in every state, I think, for the most part. If we don't, you can make it that way in your state. The other thing is that the Tribe is what you make it. It is not a Jack Richland fan club, right? It's not about me whatsoever. This is me using my platform. People for years said, why don't you organize people? And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to organize people because the worst is the theater's on fire. So join the community, create a network in your area. And that's what I wanted to do, right? So one guy was like, I thought this was going to be us, you know, talking to you all the time. No, this isn't a Jack Richland fan club. This is about you building your network. I'm just trying to facilitate it to help you do that. Okay. If other influencers want to be influencers and YouTube creators and have fan clubs, I don't want that. I'm just a guy that wants to make content for you guys, provide information, and make you a better prepared citizen, help give you training and those sort of things. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. Make sure to always stay frosty, stay strapped, and stay dangerous. Take care.